So there's a heck of a lot of hype over The Calling, and there should be. We're going to talk about that. But there are also 3 more of these things, and I think that there are some pretty big things that need fixing. So this episode, I wanted to share my experience, the things I liked, the things I didn't, and the things that you should know before you go. Before we jump into all of that stuff, though, I'm going to try to make this quick, but you know I'm really bad at that. Anyway, I'm rocking out the old Clown Shoes Mango Kolsch this time. Mostly because I just need to get rid of it, but we're also running out of beer in the house. But I'm also about to go to Scotland, so I don't really need to have any other beer. However, to add to it, I got toys. I got my coasters in, guys. They're so cool. I'm such a fan of these. They turned out really nice as well. Too buzzed to read the fucking card. That's me. That's my life. So yeah, if you're interested in these, hit up my Patreon, patreon.com/DexandDrafts. I'll put a link in the comments. That's kind of my current distribution method. I'm probably going to start adding like buy me a beer, buy me a coffee, just rebranded, because a lot of people have been asking how they can support, but they're a little wary on subscriptions, and that's smart. I think that's fair. But anyway, let's get this beer out of the way. On the coaster. That's right. I'm a fan. Anyway, let's jump right into The Calling in Vegas. I'll see you in like one quick cut. So before I jump too far in, I want to share what my goals were. I did not actually participate in The Calling main event. I participated in the world premiere, and then I wanted to do side events, limiteds. I wanted to just kind of fellowship and have fun and kind of come and go as I pleased. And then just meet people. That was my expectation going in. So I got like the limited go again package, and I focused on side events. I strongly feel like that was a big fucking mistake. And I'm going to explain why here in just a sec. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to do the bad stuff. I just wanted to share. I went in to do kind of limited side events and then meet people. And I got a majority of what I wanted, and I got a couple things that I just really threw me off. So, but let's talk about the good stuff. Good stuff that happened. 1,000 people. 1,000 people. And then like a little bit, it like teeters between 1,000. Can't go wrong. Can't say anything bad about this. This is a huge victory for LSS. This is a huge victory for Flesh and Blood. A lot of eyes were on this thing. Nobody was supposed to show up, shit like that. But I think the fact that this was a world premiere helped. Thing though, and I've learned this through doing Learn to Plays, and I think one of the best pieces of advice I got from good old George over at Compete Sport was it's not the first event that matters, it's the second one. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen in Dallas. Now that the world premiere is done, that piece of that enticing thing is not a thing anymore. Now you really just have a big tournament and people who are coming together and flying out to Dallas. I'm really curious how that's going to go. Are people going to be ramped up at the excitement of Vegas and say, I want to be a part of that? Or they're going to say, I really just kind of came for the world premiere. That was a big part of the draw, and I'm not that interested. I kind of see the second one happening. I see it about 700-800. However, if you are on the fence and you're just worried you're not going to have a good time at The Calling and that's what's turning you off to it, go to The Calling. Go. You're gonna have such a blast. I got the things that I weren't expecting to be as good were infinitely better than I thought. The stuff that I kind of had held to a standard were not. But it was so great meeting people. It was great just drinking till 3 a.m. in hotel lobbies and playing goofy shit Flesh and Blood. That was a blast. Getting to rock out my Shiana in Classic Constructed, not Pit Fight, Classic Constructed, where we're like, Shiana has 40 health now. That's broken, by the way. That game wasn't even fair, and it was so fun to watch. But we're like all drunk and tipsy and whatnot. It's like 2 a.m. and we're just having a blast. Man, oh man, this community... If there is anything to be said about Flesh and Blood, it's that the community fucking rocks. And we got 1,000 people in the room. We didn't have any major altercations. We had a little theft. Like 99.9% of the people had great intentions and they were wonderful. There were a few bad apples because there's always bad fucking apples. Everyone was super respectful about masks. Tappy Toe Claws. Oh crap, I feel really bad. Did a whole long Twitter post about how everyone was super respectful for her and the other female cosplayers, which is a concern everywhere. It was so great just meeting people and hanging and go. if you are cool with that, if you really want to play this thing in the flesh and blood and meet other people who are happy to do the same, go to the calling. You're going to get exactly what you want. It's going to be fantastic. I cannot stress enough how much I enjoyed that experience. It was also super cool to just kind of be a part of just a big ass event. Again, I think that's something that many people feel with COVID and all that. Just like, it's just great to have so many people in the room just enjoying something together, regardless of the quality of those individuals, of which I put you all at top tier. It's just great to have everyone in the room with kind of a same focus, same vision. That was neat. There are some really cool events that happen. The world premiere, so much fun. Logistic problems, but that's in my shit list. An absolute ton of fun. We all got kind of randomly sat at a table, and we were all just meeting each other and just so excited about whatever was in front of us. I expect that's going to happen in the next 3 with Tales of Aria coming out. Even if it's been out a month by Cincinnati, everyone's just going to be like, I'm so excited about this, and we're still trying goofy shit. Like, the callings is where people are going to try to figure out the meta, and it's going to be so fun to see how many goofy fucking ideas are out there. Oh, I can't. Oh, it's going to be, that's the draw for me if I were to go to another one, which right now I'm not going to another one. I really wanted to go to Cincinnati, but I just can't. So yeah, people, fantastic. Everyone in the same room enjoying the same thing. Fantastic. Vendors were super cool. It was really cool to meet a lot of them. It was great to meet a whole lot of other content creators. Everyone was super respectful and chill. The professor was out there. Great guy to talk to. He was just having the time of his life, it sounded like. Just kind of appreciating the room. There weren't weird lines, and there wasn't like everyone was just like, oh, let's just have a posse that follows the big names around. That's not a thing that happened. We were just so focused on having fun with the game that like the celebrities and the personalities just kind of got to enjoy their time, I feel. That was really neat. It literally was a celebration of flesh and blood. And I think that was perfect. I think that was absolutely wonderful. And I would 100% recommend purely on that. Just purely on that. Other thing I have to appreciate, Channel Fireball. Channel Fireball got the hard stuff right. When it came to the interfaces, being able to signing up through Channel Fireball, logging into Channel Fireball, and then having your vouchers and whatnot for events be there and be able to use to buy things. I think they crushed that. I think it was really smooth, really simple. Once you figured out that's what you were supposed to do. Communication was not one of the strong points of the calling. But when it came to, like, you've got all these people in a room, for the most part, things ran smooth. Smooth. Not well, but smooth. No weird altercations, no having a reverse course on anything, nothing major like that happened. I have to commend Channel Fireball for their efforts and getting really a lot of good right when it came to making sure that people could kind of play the events that they wanted to play. With that in mind, there are also some big struggles here. And I want to get into the stuff that I didn't like very much. But quick recap of the good stuff. People are amazing. Huzzah! Great to be in a room. Huzzah! Like, the excitement was absolutely there. Again, I cannot comment enough on how great the event was for the things that absolutely worked. Now let's quickly talk about the stuff that didn't and the stuff that you should know if you're going to go to one of the other ones. I want to try to maybe set a little bit of some expectations for you, at least based off of my experience. Maybe they'll fix this, maybe they won't. Channel Fireball, I hope you're listening, because I'm going to try to be really constructive here. So I want to split this section into 2 pieces. One, I want to do kind of constructive criticism on the things that I feel just did not run very well and kind of took away from the experience that they were trying to make happen. The second piece of this, I want to talk about what I feel are very missed opportunities. And they are really missed opportunities here. But we'll get into exactly what I mean by that. So for starters, some things that I struggled with, and I feel like this is comfortably across the board. I feel like if you were to ask people how they felt about this, they would all say, yeah, it needed some work. And that's logistics. This thing, I'm not going to say it was a logistical nightmare. That's not a thing at all. Everything ran the way that it needed to. They had tables for, like, you do side events, and they had slips, and they had, you can log in and they report results on your phone. They had people who you can hand slips to, and they were covering results. that stuff, like, they had it in place. I just don't feel was executed very, very well. So for those of you who are going and you're looking at side events and you're trying to schedule, and you're saying, I know that we're going to do a blitz, we're going to do a draft, and I know those tend to take like 3-4 hours, so I'm going to do this at 11, I'm going to do something else like at 4. Be really careful of that, because one of the struggles that we had was we would go to something that we expected to take like 4 hours, and it would take 6, or it would take way longer than it should have. On average, 1 to 2 hours longer than things should have, specifically because of the logistical problems. Having 4 different events going on and 200 people playing in like side events and whatnot, and there's only like one funnel that people can go through to report results. There's one guy at the side events table who is turning in results for all of the different events that are coming in. So you sit there in between rounds and you do nothing for like a half hour, 45 minutes, and that just stacks and stacks and stacks. So I did the Shapeshifter event on Saturday. I think it was Saturday, whatever. I did a Shapeshifter event, which, by the way, killer fucking format. That needs to happen. Basically, really easy. 2 packs Wraith, 2 packs Arc. 2 packs Wraith, 2 packs Arc, 2 packs Crew. Any class is every class. So Viscerai, when it says play another Runeblade card, that just means any card that is a class, that is not generic. It was so fun. Anyway, I wanted to do that at, I think it was like at 2:30. There was an event like at a 10:30. I was like, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do the Shapeshifter. But because the events are taking like 4 or 5 hours when they should only take 2, I actually couldn't do anything. Like, I could go, but I was immediately going to have to drop. Or not immediately, but I was going to have to drop in the middle, and I couldn't take it very seriously. And that kind of sucked, given that you get prizes based on your wins in these events. That was a struggle. So don't be really lax on your scheduling. What I wish that Channel Fireball did is, instead of have the side events table, I wish that every event that they had running had a person with a tab. Just a tablet thing. They can record it right there and make sure the event keeps moving along. Shouldn't have been that hard to do. Really wish they did that. That way, when everybody's done, I say, okay, I've got results in. Is everybody here? All right, cool. Let's get the next round going, and let's get everybody moving so things can run in a timely fashion. I really wish they did that. It was such a struggle. And it happened everywhere. The main calling event had 45 minutes in between rounds when they shouldn't have. The world premiere took at least 2-3 hours longer than it needed to. There were so many logistic struggles, and I just wish they had more people devoted to keeping things moving along, as opposed to just being there. That doesn't help, guys. You gotta have people do stuff. Big miss. So again, if you plan on going and you want to try to keep a tight schedule, like I'm going to do this, and then that should give me just enough time for this, it's not going to give you enough time for it. No, you're probably going to end up dropping or something. Just kind of expect it unless they get better at it. You can pretty much gauge the first couple of events is if they take about as long as you expected them to. Cool. Cool. I know the immediate counter to that is, wow, that was a lot of people though. You should expect extra time. No, not when everything's done online, not when Channel Fireball has done this shit before, and not when there is a clear fix in having more than one person handle all of the results for multiple events. No, that argument doesn't work, guys. It just doesn't. So that's number one. Logistics were just rough. They were just rough. Next up, let's talk about the prize wall. The prize wall is going to be a really tricky one because it's such a great idea. And I think it created a bit more of an issue than I think anybody really could realize. And here's the thing. I don't entirely know the fix for this. So I'm not going to pretend like I know a fix. But I am going to share some of the struggles that we had. First off, the idea of the prize wall is really cool. The prize wall is a place where you go, and throughout the days, throughout the event, you get these prize tickets. And there, number of wins in certain events get you more prize tickets, and then you turn those tickets in. That's why you see things like the uncut sheets. Those were 800 prize tickets. If you got 800 over the course of the event, you can walk away with this really big thing that's going for like $1,000 on the Facebook group. I said that in that way for a reason. Really cool execution, really cool things, really cool unique things on the prize wall. And then you can get like singles and just packs for super cheap if you've got like 20, 30 points left and you're just about to go home. The prize wall was... here's the warning. Let's do it this way. If you're going to go and you're really looking at like things like side events and anything where you can primarily get these points, this event, there are a few who are in this event to make money. This event is a good way to make money. Those prize ticket things, the stuff on the wall, they were going for a pretty penny, and people knew that they were, and they kind of said, damn the experience. Damn the experience for others as well. So remember, I did side events. That was the thing that I did. And what happened with the side events, I mentioned this was a bit of a logistical nightmare. I didn't want to say nightmare. It was a logistical struggle. Part of that struggle was you would have like on-demand and side events where they just kind of was like, you guys kind of know how to do this on your own. So you really didn't have a lot of people who were monitoring or watching or keeping things flowing. So it was just kind of, we were thrown together. We were just thrown to go and play and have our fun and figure life out. And what would happen is we had people who were there to win as many tickets as possible, as quick as they can, who basically just hustled the side events. Like I did a couple of drafts, I did a few on-demands where people had no problem saying, oh yeah, I just brought this deck in because nobody's watching and I want prize tickets. And they absolutely cheated, and there was kind of nowhere to go with it. Like the guy, they throw 8 people over in a corner and then they walk away. I was like, this guy's cheating. Like, just go. Like the integrity of the side events, the integrity of the on-demands was just not a thing. And that was frustrating, especially for me, who that's all that I wanted to do, because I just wanted to just kind of low stress environment, except there was 100% stress because there were people who were there to basically just wrangle and hustle these events and then go on their merry way and not care about talking to anybody, and then go get more tickets so they can get more money off of them, and what you could get. And that sucked. That was a frustrating experience. It kind of screwed my whole Saturday, honestly. I just did side events, and then I realized I couldn't keep to a schedule because the logistics were all off and everything took too long. And then I did some of the on-demands, and I learned that there were 6 people maybe who were there to have fun, and then there were the 2 who were just like, oh, I got this deck from I got this deck from home, whatever, you guys don't care, right? I'm just gonna go ahead and win, get my prize tickets, and I'm gonna walk away because this event's gonna take like a half hour. And we had nowhere we can report that, and nowhere we could do anything about that, and it was kind of frustrating. So I think the prize wall lend itself a little bit to that. Lack of integrity in some of the side events was something I just really struggled to appreciate. And I know that might be a staffing issue, but I also feel like maybe not. Again, one guy with a tablet, I think you solve a lot of these issues. But that put a little bit of a damper on things. The sides were not as fun as I wanted to. So if you are going, be very cautious of that. You gotta really just, I don't know if you gotta let it go, or I'm hoping Channel Fireball looks and comes up with some sort of system that says, hey, we're going to make sure that these things are what they need to be. If you come in expecting a draft, you should expect everyone to play with a draft deck, not a 30-card thing that looks a lot like a draft deck, but is in fact catered to win versus RNG. Oh, that was a struggle. That was a bit of a struggle. But honestly, that's it. Oh, and actually, the UPF was a fucking disaster, by the way. And I don't care anybody. This is a rant. I gotta rant real quick. I'm actually gonna cut, and we're gonna start the rant. And then I'm gonna take a video, or I'm gonna take a drink. All right, here we go. Good thing I cut because the autofocus was off. By the way, if you're ever looking for a camera, do not get the Logitech C920s. I'm sorry, these things suck. You can't turn off the autofocus. Anyway, let's talk about the Ultimate Pit Fight. 1, I love Ultimate Pit Fight. I think it's a lot of fun in the right group of the people who kind of know and appreciate it. It's a social engineering kind of game. There's so much politics. There's so much interesting stuff going on. I love Ultimate Pit Fight. I think it's an absolute blast. When is it not a blast? When 23 people get together to do one single iteration of the game. That sucked. The way they did it was they had 23 people lined up side by side, and then they had every 4th person go. The problem with that is that those turns start to stack. So you're hitting over here, and you've got to deal with 2 attacks over on the right of you, most likely, because they're paying attention at the same time. So you just don't have the time to recover because 4 people are going. It was loud. It was obnoxious. And to make it even worse, you couldn't actually go beyond the person to the left and right of you. The ruling was there's a bubble beyond the left and right. So the things that you do that would affect the table only affected the person to the left and right. You know why that sucks? It sucks when you play Shiana. I bought singles. I bought singles for my Shiana Ultimate Pit Fight deck, only to find out I couldn't even fucking use Shiana, really. And that sucked. God, I just took 14 from KO to the face and left. I was like, here, take my point, take my bounty, and I gotta go. I'm leaving. And then I immediately went and got beer. That was a dumb decision. And it's one of those that feels like it was thrown together by people who just, like, it just didn't care. Kind of like the side events with no integrity. It's just like, hey, people can do a pit fight, whatever, we're going to throw them, and we're just going to, who really cares whether or not it's run well, or they're going to make their own fun. They're going to make their own fun, and if they have struggles with it, too bad, they'll leave, whatever. As long as enough people seem to be laughing throughout, that's fine. And that's whatever. If enough people are laughing throughout, that means that clearly the event was a hitch, is sure a way to help you sleep at night. But as far as the actual enjoyment factor, it was a goofy fucking thing that was really stupidly executed. And I get that it's an ultimate pit fight. It's supposed to be a janky, stupid format. Well, it's also supposed to be a fun format, and one that makes sense and is coherent, and also kind of doesn't screw the heroes that really shine in that. I didn't have any fucking fun. I didn't have any fun in that, and it was the second worst thing that I've ever done for this game outside of go to a very specific game store that I'm not going to mention here, for reasons. God, that pit fight made me mad. I'm if you had fun, good for you. Anyway, let's talk about some areas of opportunity and then close this bad boy off. I just needed more. Area of opportunity number 1. This is a celebration of Flesh and Blood. I wish that it was more of that. I wish that they really went full on it. I felt that would have been really easy. You know what would have been great to see? Artists. The vendors that we had were really fun. They were fun. But they were all card shop owners, online card shop owners. So you're buying sleeves, you're buying cards, you're buying packs, and that's basically it. You get a couple playmats here and there. But if this is really a celebration of Flesh and Blood, which it so much was, it would have been great to have artists as guests. It would have been great to, I know that developers, I know travel and whatnot makes a lot of this very, very tricky, but you could have found, there's surely some in America that you could have done. There's surely some that could have traveled that you could have done. Would have been super cool. It would have been kind of super cool also to have maybe a meet and greet of content creators. I don't necessarily know, because I'm never going to be big enough to be one of those, and I'm going to want to just get beer anyway. But because we were all in masks, it was really hard to kind of see people who, like, hey, I loved finding Louis, but I had to find Louis first. It was so great to see Kitchen Table. It was so great to see Jim over at FABTCGcards.com. It was so great to chat with Red Zone Rogue for all of like a minute and a half until I realized that his voice was gone. I was like, I'm gonna let you be. I apologize. But I had to go find him out. I think it would have been kind of neat to be like, hey, you know, I really appreciate what you do, and just kind of have that be like, hey, I got a little spot for myself. I think it would have been neat. I think it would have been nice to be able to not kind of have to guess who a person was and be like, hey, I just wanted to appreciate and thank you for what you did. Maybe that's not something that anybody would have cared about. Maybe that would have kind of over-glorified the personality thing, especially given I just said it was kind of nice that they didn't have to do that. So I don't know. I don't know on that one. I also really, 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 really wish that we got off of this Monarch shit. I get that there's a lot of Monarch out there. I understand it. But did every goddamn side event have to be fucking Monarch? It's probably going to be Tales of Aria now, which is going to be great and awesome. But mix it up a little bit. Like, come on. It's just like, hey, we're doing a draft. What's the draft, Monarch? Okay. Like, if you don't get a good prison pool, you're pretty much done. But that's a personal opinion. I do wish, I don't know, that the venue put a food truck out. I get it. There was a taco guy, there was a hot dog guy, and then if you wanted to spend $14 on half a sandwich, there was a shitty Quiznos right outside of the hall. But get a food truck. How hard would that have been? Thank God for the Mining Expo, who it wasn't even happening until Monday, but they were setting up, and they hired a food truck, so you can get barbecue, but you gotta go like 10 minutes down the South Hall, or down the halls to get one. So it's a little bit of struggle. Get a food truck next time. Get like two food trucks. You've got 1,000 people in a room. They're going to need to eat. Food trucks would have been great. It's a great opportunity as well. Get a couple lined up. That would have been freaking awesome. I would have been such a big fan of that. Instead, I just walked way too fucking far. So I'm trying to think if I have any others. Naturally, I wanted more beer in there, but that's a whole liability thing, and no, don't exactly want to do that. But I do really wish that it was a little bit more than just play-in vendors. I think that there is more to Flesh and Blood. This isn't exactly a complaint. It's just stuff that I would maybe like to see next time. I would love to be able to go and get cards signed, like what you could do over at Gen Con and whatnot. I would have loved to meet some of the lore writers. That'd be so much fun. I would have loved to have, rent out an extra room and do like a panel here and there. Turn it into kind of a little mini convention. I think that would have been a great use of time, especially given that if you can't get the scheduling right, I've got 3 hours to kill because I really want to go to this event and nothing else is going to take time. I would love to sit in, listen to people talk, and just fellowship and just do cool things. I think that would have been a lot of fun. I think that would have been really cool. Might not have been as easy for the calling, for the Vegas, but again, I'm kind of looking towards things that would make this super cool in the future. But overall, that's it. Those are my quick thoughts. I'm just kind of randomly throwing things out there, just to recap everything for you. If you have the let's do the bad stuff first. The side events, the prize wall, kind of created a little bit of a hustling experience, and I don't know what a solve for that could be, but I think that making sure that even the side events and kind of the throwaways have some level of integrity would be really nice, especially for those of us that's kind of the weekend we committed to, and I was expecting even a low bar. And we couldn't even get to that because I was like, if you're cheating, nobody's here, nobody's watching, nobody cares. That sucked. That wasn't very fun. I really wish that I just did the main. I wish I did the main. And I'm going to let other people talk about the judging and whatnot. I guess there were some concerns. I didn't want to comment on the main event stuff and drama there just because I wasn't a part of it. I felt that'd be a little unfair. I'll let other people handle that. But yeah, I wish that there were just better logistics. I wish that the prize wall was, again, I don't have a damn answer for that. I really don't. Just bring integrity to the events. That's what I got. Bring integrity to the events. I would love to see a little bit more celebration stuff. I'd love opportunities to, kind of meet other people who are involved in this game. I think that'd be super cool. Granted, it's nice to meet my favorite local online shop. Sure. But I think we could do better. I think that I think that there's more to it than that. Get some fucking food trucks out there. Food trucks, so much better, so much smarter. Sorry, convention, but your hot dog sucked. I think I've accidentally bit into a paper towel that I stuck in the sink, and it had more flavor than that fucking hot dog. Blah. But yeah, not a lot. That's it. Those are my biggest complaints. And if those are my biggest complaints, this event was great. This event's freaking spectacular. So the good stuff, go if you can. Everyone, community, you are going to see why this is one of the best communities in gaming. Even with the concerns about other games kind of coming in and creating a little bit of a negative experience. Even with hundreds of people in a single room. Warms my heart. I love and appreciate all of you. I am so thankful for you. And the calling absolutely proved it. And it's going to happen again and again and again. And I cannot wait for other people to experience that. I loved having places to play outside of the convention. I loved going to, hop into the hotel or, going to get food. And it's like, hey, there's a table here. Let's go. We're waiting on food. Let's jam out some Blitz. Such a blast. So much fun. Props to Channel Fireball for getting kind of the technology right. They really nailed that. I appreciate them for that. Congratulations to LSS and Flesh and Blood. So many people are paying attention to this thing now. They always were, but this was supposed to be a failure and a disaster. And it's just good. This is exactly what I wanted out of this event. Again, if the logistics were better, you would hear me raving so much more, but I'm just making sure for next time that people don't, get a high set of expectations, being like, oh crap, this didn't work. And then they're suddenly complaining about the thing. I don't want this to sound like just a series of complaints. That's not how I roll. You guys know this. I really did have the time of my life. I really do wish that I can go to other ones. I just can't, but I really think that you should, and I would love to hear your experiences. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear your feedback. How would you make this better? I know it's a big celebration of the the overwhelming success, but we've got 3 more to go. Let's send some feedback in. Let's share some opportunities for improvement. So if you have any, or if you just want to say, "Holy shit, this was absolutely amazing," and share with me your highlights, let's talk in the comments. Let's meta this bitch. But other than that, I've got some pre-release to get to, so I'm super excited for that. I hope you guys have a safe one, a happy one, and get some epic pulls and get to hug some cardboard trees. That's a hint to the fable if you haven't seen it. Anyway, cheers, mates. Thank you guys so much. Go Colin, go Flesh and Blood. And again, congratulations, Legend Story Studios.